Good evening and welcome to the special school committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 26th. The time is 6:03 p.m. and we are meeting at Brockton High School in the Little Romm Theater. Please join me. Actually, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please join me in the salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. So we are going to do a roll call, just so we can establish a quorum. Judy Sullivan? If you can, Jared Homer?
Here.
Kathy Ehlers? Here. Cynthia Mendez?
Here.
Tony Rodriguez?
Here.
Timothy Sullivan?
Here.
And the chair, vice chair is here, Joyce Asak. So we do have a quorum. We do not have any hearing of visitors. No hearing of visitors this evening. So the first item on the agenda, I just want to clarify a couple of things. So we're meeting tonight to resolve in a timely fashion two issues of concern that have been brought to our attention by school committee members. Tonight's meeting was chosen in order to accommodate the Accounts Review Subcommittee, which is originally scheduled for today at 5:30 p.m. The thinking was that with two pending issues that require the attention of the school committee, and by combining these two agenda items into one meeting of the committee of the whole in a special school committee meeting, the body would be in a position to resolve both with alacrity. Thank you. So the first item that's on the agenda, we have the FY 2022 school bids. The bid number is 2280-0037, lease of property on Westgate Drive. This item was previously addressed in a bid review subcommittee with no vote and no resolution. So it is before us this evening, and I want to just hand this over to Mr. Sullivan, who is the chair. And we also have the superintendent, and we have Dr. Cobbs present for any questions.
Just one correction. There was a vote taken, but there was no resolution. Bid number 2280-0037, lease property on Westgate Drive. The item was brought before the bid subcommittee here at the Romm Little Theater. On July 19, 2022, we had 100% in attendance. We ended up with a stalemate of a vote, 2-2. That's why we're bringing it here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. So do any of the members have any questions now that you've had, some of you that were on the bid review have had time to review the material. Others that were not on there, we were provided with some information. Anyone have any questions? Dr. Cobbs, if you have any comments or anything?
On the microphone. Sure. So as you know, this property is we're looking for so we can expand our school programs. You know, we need to move the Huntington School so we can rehab the building. So we need to relocate them. So this is an adequate space for to meet our needs. So that's kind of it's like I said, the complete floor that we will be using and we'll be leasing for at least the first year anyway, and then we'll exercise our options if we need to for continuing.
Okay. I did have a question, and then Mrs. Ehlers. So I actually asked you the question as being on the facilities subcommittee. I understand the urgency of this. So you had answered some of the questions that I had as far as, do we have room for a cafeteria? And do we have an area for the therapeutic care? And just so the public knows that's watching this, that, we are moving them into probably a better location?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reality is, Superintendent Thomas can speak to this. The student population, the last enrollment this school year was 88, and probably the consistent attendance was 25 to 30 So it's a very small student population that we're moving again for at least 1 year. So this will meet the needs. We have ample classroom spaces and large spaces for cafeteria, and a space that we can designate as a workout room, exercise therapy room.
Okay, and you did mention it was handicapped accessible?
Yes,
Or it was
absolutely.
mentioned last
Yes.
time? Okay,
When you drive up to the upper level in the parking lot, it's on grade right into the school. So.
okay. So, and Mrs. Ehlers, you had a question?
I do, really quick. I understand that whenever you're moving students, it's never optimal. I understand that, and we're never going to find a perfect space for them. But Mike, one of the questions I do have is it realistic for us to think that the work can be done at the Huntington within a year? And then the second part of my question, are we going to move these students back to the Huntington, or are they going to go somewhere else?
So, yeah, we'll definitely get the Huntington done in a year because it has the new roof.
Okay.
So it's mostly all cosmetic. There we do have to add. So basically, the goal is for, as you know, that we just got notified we received a $750,000 grant for pre-K
Yeah.
expansion, and that was a promise that the committee made when we changed the start date for kindergarten. And those dates were rolled back, and we wanted to make sure we we allowed parents to have that option. And now that we know that the government, not only at the federal level, at the state level, is really pushing full-day pre-K, but we're pretty much out of space after we're adding, I think, 6 this year. And we have room in the current elementary schools, but beyond this year, we will not. So we will do what we did to the Barrett Russell 8 years ago. Is pretty much a total rehab, all new carpets, new ceilings, new doors. The windows are in fine shape. They were replaced back in the mid-'90s. The roof is brand new. Was just done last year. We have a bid out to redo the gymnasium because that's in rough shape. And then we went through yesterday, and we do have to add bathrooms, and we'll contract out the plumber to do that, because that was the one knock on the Huntington always, is it just never had enough bathrooms. But there's a lot of smaller in-between classroom areas that have sinks that can be transformed
Oh,
into
yeah, yeah.
small bathrooms, which is really helpful when you have pre-K kids
Yeah, the
that
plumbing's
don't have
already
to go
there.
down the hallway. So, but what we'll do is we will book a facility subcommittee meeting so we can have a walkthrough of the Huntington, so we can show you exactly how we'll go about the rehab. But other than contracting out a lot of the plumbing work, all the other work, cosmetic, will be done in-house.
Perfect.
The lighting actually has already been done through a grant, so all the lights are all LED.
perfect.
All we have to do is change the drop ceilings, just updated ceiling tiles, and again, it's carpet. It's all carpet because it's hardwood floors, and you really can't tile because it's so uneven.
Yeah.
But we will definitely do the carpet squares, and pretty much what we did at the Barrett Russell, which was a great success. We will do the same thing at the Huntington, and then we'll open us up 20 available pre-K classrooms.
That's great.
So it's a lot of, and I'm actually going to take a trip out to Springfield. I was talking to the superintendent. They did this to an older one of their buildings years ago. They have a big pre-K center, and it's really become a success story for them. So I'm going to go visit that sometime in later September to take a look at it. So I think the move helps us to kind of set up for what's coming with pre-K. We're hoping that the city will consider purchasing the building that we're preparing to lease, because I think we could expand that into not only the Huntington, it's got a lot of other use as well.
Perfect. So do we think we're going to be moving these kids again at the end of this time, or are we
We're hoping no.
Okay. So the plan is to try to turn this into their own center.
In our building, yep.
Okay. All right. Fair
And
enough.
owned by the city.
Gotcha. Okay. That answers my question. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Superintendent.
Thank you.
So for some of the new members, a few years back when I first came onto the committee, is when we had that move. So a lot of the jobs are in-house, so it does help with our facilities department and our outdoorsmen getting the buildings. Believe it or not, we did all that in one summer The Barrett,
The Barrett was actually less than a
Barrett.
year. We actually didn't start to the Barrett until May. And the only reason why we'd have to contract out some of the plumbing is because we've put out 3 times now for, over the past 6 months, for actually even longer, 8 months, we've put out ads for plumbers, and we haven't got anybody to apply, and obviously the market is high for craftsmen. So anybody out there listening, if they have a plumber that has a master's license, and that's one other, a lot of people have the journeyman's license, but they have to have a master's license when they're in school department. But if there's anybody out there that's looking to be a plumber and lives in Brockton, we'll hire them. And that would again, we like to do everything in-house and try not to contract out if we don't have to.
Thank you. Any other members have any questions or comments? Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. I had the liberty of touring this property this afternoon. Thank you, for clarifying the cafeteria and the workout space. When I look at the workout space, I'm looking at the gym because these are therapeutic students that's going to be going into the center. My concern is this location suitable for these therapeutic students, being that it's, Westgate Mall. You have 2 hotels that sit directly behind them, and they function more as a shelter than actually like a hotel. And there is some issues over there. And is this district ready for any issues that do arise there? Because there are issues there. Not saying that these kids are going to go out and be problematic, but this area is it's traveled. There's a lot of people that visit there. So, did we look at another location? Did we, is this the last resort? I know, we're in a time crunch right now. But, that's one of my main concerns is, taking these students and putting them in the middle of a shopping center. Because I could just, think about the phone calls that's going to be coming through the superintendent's office from, the management, the kids running the stores, or, how are we going to address this?
Dr. Cobbs?
So one of the benefits, I understand the area and it's in the shopping mall, but it really has its own area for pick up and drop off for students. And these students, just about all of them take private transportation.
They all take transportation.
They're all on the minibuses. So the time is really, they get delivered to the school, they go in, they come out of school, the bus is there, and they leave. So there's really no interaction so much, at the mall, the rest of the community so much. So that, that's kind of one of the things as far as the safety and security.
And again, we're downsizing the school to probably going to be about 30 to 35 students because we're redesigning it. I think people have to, these are high functioning students with disabilities that what we're working with, and I know the people that are planning it are working with the businesses at the mall to actually start work-study programs, so they would be able to then leave school and go right into a job, either at Dick's or one of the businesses at the mall. So that's going to be part of the new program, kind of like a work-study program, because that's kind of missing now. So we're trying to look at it as a benefit to having the students right there so they can, grow right into a job at one of the facilities at the mall. But I can understand Mr. Rodriguez's concerns with the area, but it's safe as far as the building itself, and we'll have, again, everything will be fobbed, and the security that we always have for our buildings will definitely be in place. And again, obviously no students can walk. They don't walk now to the Huntington because they all get transportation in their IEPs. And the only thing is just, we've been looking at spaces all over the place. It's just, unfortunately, there's none. And this one was just rehabbed by Lincoln Tech, and they moved, and it's the quickest, best one we could find. But I understand the concerns.
And just to follow up on that, the urgency of moving the students, but like Mike said, this building is ready. We're not going in and spending any money for rehab and building walls and spending a lot of money. It's pretty much ready to go, other than putting in tables for the cafeteria and exercise equipment for the gymnasium. Classrooms are pretty much set up as well, so there's not a lot of expense to move the students in there and start functioning right away.
No, I took the tour. It's a nice size, but who would be responsible? I mean, with the property, are we going to put up a fence? Is that the property owner that's going to be responsible? Or are we going to be responsible for that as tenants? Because if this moves forward, I would like to see some type of fencing. There's some type of barrier to separate the properties that exist there now.
Well, again, the idea is to purchase the property. At that point, we can do whatever we want to
I
do
think
with
they'd
it.
let us put up,
Yeah, I think he would.
they'd let us put up a temporary fence. Yeah, a temporary meaning that it could be moved and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it would separate the area.
Separate the parking lot from everybody else.
Thank you. So just one question. So this is a one-year lease. I understand your concerns, Mr. Rodriguez. It's a one-year lease, and we could just give it a chance and see how everything is, and if it does have potential down the road, if it is something to purchase. But we do need somewhere for the students to start as of September, so I understand the urgency on that. But this would go before the facilities subcommittee if there was potential to purchase, and we can check on things a little further. So,
And we can keep looking through the year for other locations that you never know what can come up.
okay.
I know a couple times, the old St. Margaret's School was on, and we missed that one, and that sold to somebody. I called, and this is about, I don't know, almost 2 years ago, we were looking for another location, and that had sold. So we'll continue to, Jim looks all the time. That's how we found Summer Street, and
Ken
I just think-
Thompson and I are always out looking around and looking at potential proproperties to,
Yeah.
because our programs keep expanding, so.
No, definitely. I'm always looking. I'm always
Yeah,
on the
I know, you
lookout
are,
to
yeah,
see. Again, it's
that's why I don't think we're married to the site. It's just, it's for how it is and set up and move-in ready. It's the best location for now, but obviously the best thing is to have a property that we own and,
we have full control of.
Right.
That makes more sense. So this is a triple net lease.
Correct.
So how are they? So it's 203,400, and then quarterly it's 50,850.
Right, correct.
So in the estimated, again, it's for a year. So estimated, water, electric, all that. Do we have like a ballpark idea of what we're looking at? Even though we're leasing it for 203,400, we'll have the school there, and then we'll have other offices as well. So we'll be able to
If we
utilize.
purchase the building, yes, we will, yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else with any questions or comments? Mrs. Mendez.
I know there's been talk about purchase of the building, but just looking how much we're paying for rent, is that, I just, as an owner perspective.
that's why I agree
don't
that
see this
the city has to make a decision to purchase it,
I
after
wonder if
this
the
year, 'cause
owner's gonna be willing to sell it at this point, though, right? 'Cause
They
this is-
actually,
He
they
is.
have it on the market.
He is, yes.
Okay.
He is.
They have it on the market, and believe me, the bond payment would be a lot cheaper than a lease. It's just, again, city has to do a taking, and even if it's friendly taken, that's the only way they can purchase buildings is a friendly taken, and that's obviously a process the city has to go through, so.
Okay, and then my
$15 a square foot is about, for Brockton, that's pretty good for usable space like it's a school and office space. You won't, unless it's a warehouse space, strictly just warehouse, you won't get, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying our
kind of the
cost.
going
I'm
rate.
just saying looking at it from an
Right,
owner's
right.
perspective. If I'm getting this much money
Yeah.
a year, I don't
Yeah.
think I will sell my
Well,
property.
the understanding right from the start was, we want to purchase it and he wants to sell it, but it's just, we have to go through the process and we need this now for September.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so
And
that's
then
why
the-
he's willing to go into a lease with us in the first place, with the understanding that we're purchasing the property.
Okay, so like that's part of the
Right.
the negotiation part
Right,
of it.
exactly.
And then my other question is, so realistically, is this just a 1-year lease? Because just thinking of the transition, kind of what Miss Ehlers was talking
We have the
about.
option. It's a lease. We have it 1 year renewable. For I think it's
At
one.
our option.
We have 3 1-year leases if we want to exercise the option each year.
So realistically, this is not. It's a 1-year lease, but we might be here 2, 3, up to
If
3
we have
years.
to.
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
at our option.
Right.
Okay.
Not
Right.
theirs.
At our
All
option.
right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members with any questions or comments? Mr. Sullivan?
Yes, I would like to put this in the form of a motion.
Okay, are we all set? Let's just see if the members are all set with any questions or comments, and then,
And just to add something, Mr. Rodriguez makes a good point about safety. In my opinion, from what I've, just that, and I got to be careful how I say this, that, reviewing how the current structure of the Huntington School is, how really chopped up it is and widespread, and there's a safety risk now more than there is if they move. It's just, the building has not been conducive to the students' success there. And I'm not saying no students have succeeded there, because some great, it's been some great things done, and the staff has done an amazing job. It's just that I think they're at a disadvantage of the way the building is constructed, and it needs to be obviously updated. But it's very difficult building to navigate. A lot of nooks and crannies in the building, and again, there's been some great success stories, and the staff has done an amazing job. But I think that right now the concern, safety, I have more safety concerns with the students staying in that building rather than moving to the new one.
given the size of that building and given
Right.
the size of this, I mean, I've toured all levels except the basement over at the Huntington, and went up to the attic when they were, before the roof was even done. And I didn't realize they had classrooms up there years ago. So it's a huge building for a small number of students. So given this location might work better. But no, definitely agree. Any other members with any comments or statements? Mr. Homer?
Just to clarify, is this correct that this was the only bid that came in for this?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other members? Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
But as chair, can he make the motion? As chair of that subcommittee? Okay. We're in the committee as a whole, just making sure. Yep, we're in a committee as a whole.
All set?
Yep.
The motion is for fiscal year 2022 to approve the lease of the combined general use space, office space, and classroom space in extended grounds for Brockton Public Schools, official bid number 2280-0037.
I'm going to do a roll call vote.
Second.
Oh, sorry, a second? Okay.
Second.
So a motion's been made by Mr. Sullivan, Timothy Sullivan. It's been seconded by Judy Sullivan. And we're going to do a roll call vote. Mrs. Judy Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Jared Homer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehlers?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Timothy Sullivan?
Yes.
And the vice chair is a yes. So that is unanimous. So we're good. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the review of departmental accounts for the period of May 17th, 2022 to June 30th, 2022. So we have a discussion and we had a discussion planned and a potential vote. Mrs. Mendez, if you want to address that, you are chair of that committee.
Yeah, if there's no discussion, I want to do a motion to be able to postpone and reschedule this meeting for the department accounts for the period of May 17th, 2022 to June 30th, 2022. So if there's no discussion, I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So a motion's been made by Mrs. Mendez, and it's been seconded by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, show of hands. That's 1, 2. Oh, all unanimous. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't see you, Mrs. Sullivan. Okay. So that's going to get rescheduled, and we can just add that probably to the next school committee meeting, which is in August,
Yes.
if that works out with your members.
Schedule meeting.
So I apologize, I forgot to mention, Mayor Sullivan had a scheduling conflict. There was, this was a special meeting that was scheduled last minute, just so we can cover, there is an urgency to get this approved, given the time to get this ready for September. So he wasn't able to attend this evening, so I just wanted to mention that it was due to a scheduling conflict. So let's see what we have here. Do we have anything under other business? Mr. Rodriguez.
This is to the chair. You want to close out the Ever Alert system because we tabled that meeting. We have to close it out. We still haven't brought it up yet with the clocks.
That was tabled?
Yeah, we never voted on it because we were looking into it further. So we have to close out that meeting.
So,
I mean, we could, amongst ourselves, schedule a better time.
Yeah, we'll have to just do a follow-up meeting.
A follow-up.
We get more information about the
Yeah. Mr. Rodriguez was saying we tabled an item on a bid, which was about 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Probably a little, almost
A month ago. And we're just going to postpone that to another meeting at a later date, if we can get it with Melinda.
Melinda will work on scheduling that. That's not the committee in the whole, just the review.
That item was tabled. It was the clocks, Melinda.
It was the Ever Alert system.
okay, so bid review is going to go ahead and schedule a meeting for that at a later date
Correct.
to close that out. Perfect. Anything else under other business? Anything? Anything? We're good. Okay, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
And a second?
Second.
A motion's been made by Mrs. Mendez, and it's been seconded by Mr. Homer. All in favor, raise your hands. Unanimous. Thank you.